Hi all, Zavier here, a real estate agent with PropNext. Today with another sharing, a very timely one. Today's on the HDB market and why this is something very, very important, especially if you are staying in the HDB right now, thinking to move, or even currently selling your flat and is facing some difficulty. I will shed some light to exactly what is really happening on the ground, and this is very important if you are planning your asset progression, moving up, upgrading, or even downsizing to HDB. All right. Okay, without further ado, this chart over here, you'll see that it represents, of course, the HDB market. This is from HDB. The prices since 1994 all the way up to 2025 over here, right? Obviously, the latest spike since 5 years ago from COVID, right, is from 2020. And even up to now, you can see there's the increase has always been there. But I put out this table over here and border the increment, the quarterly increment, just to show you that the pace of increment from a quarterly basis has been slowing down. Okay, since third quarter 2024 at 2.7% to 2.6, then to 1.6, then all the way up to 0.4% in third quarter 2025. And we do know that quarterly statistics like this, based on data, are very lagging in nature. And I can tell you on the ground, as full-time practitioner with a team of agents, the listings these days are really taking longer to sell. The number of inquiries has dropped substantially, and it's no more the times where the post-COVID times where we do showings in a day, multiple showings in a day, open house, 20 groups, 30 groups, and then selling in a day. The times are gone. So this is the kind of expectation that you should have when you're approaching the sale of your HDB, and if you're planning to upgrade and things like that. Okay. Now, why is this so? Okay, these three pictograms will actually help to explain. Okay, obviously the supply of BTO flats have been ramped up since COVID due to the lack of supply and the increase in demand, the population needing more flats and the slower constructions, right? Especially you can see the huge spike in 2022 and 2023 at 23,000 and 22,000 flats. Okay, even up to now, at 17,000, it is still slightly above the average in the last 10 years or so. And if you see on the right, okay, there's this pictogram stating that 55,000 new BTO flats will be launched from this year, 2025 to 2027. And this is a 10% increase from HDB's earlier commitment of 50,000 flats. Okay, this is something huge because if you factor this year at 17,000, that means the next 2 years should come in easily at around 19,000 each, right? And this is at almost 20,000. These are big, big figures. So just to give you a sense of the numbers, the private market government land sale, confirmed sale at the highest point, probably we have around 8,000 to 10,000 units for being launched on the market for sale, right? So this is easily 3 times or even 2 times, 2.5 times the figure. So increase in supply eventually, BTO, how does it affect the resale market? Of course, you have more competition when there's more supply, when they have reached the MOP, whether it's 5 years for the normal housing, and then because recently now we have the prime housing model that you need to stay for 10 years, right? So eventually when you reach there'll be more supply and more competition. And this is something that you want to plan ahead, because if you can see the supply that's coming on to the market, then you know that maybe future prices will be kept, okay? And then if you look towards the last pictogram on the bottom right, yeah, I think this is something that people don't take it as seriously, but I feel it has a bigger impact on the resale market. Okay, the whole point of why people are buying resale flats is because they cannot afford to wait for the construction phase of a BTO, right? Because usually it takes maybe average around 4 years, but during the COVID period, it extended even up to 6 years or so. Now with this shorter waiting time. Shorter waiting time is likely around 2.5 years up to 3 years, which is quite fast. Okay, if they are going to introduce this shorter waiting time, I think this will kind of be solve the whole problem of the waiting time for BTOs, and as a direct competition, suddenly BTOs now are direct competition to resale flats. So slowly as the technology improve and they ramped up more and more, and they see that this is more well taken up, then I think HDB owners will face more competition down the road, and this is something bigger because the lines between BTOs and resale flats, the instant purchase of resale flats, the benefits of that will be totally negated. All right. So hope you understand where you're coming. Okay. And this chart also shows you, to tie it up all together, from BTOs, okay, when they reach their MOP, they'll be on the resale market for sale. Right. So it shows the estimated number of HDB flats reaching MOP at the time of the year. So this year, it so happens that we have the least number of MOP flats. That means the least number of flats that have reached their 5 years MOP. The 10 years one will still have some time to go before they reach the MOP. Right? Some of them are still even constructing. So it will probably be around 13, 12 years later. So this probably it's from those BTOs that were launched during the COVID or even the pre-COVID period, and there were construction delays. That's why there's so little MOP flats at this year. But if you look into next year and the following year, it's quite scary. Right? I hope you digest this a bit, because the numbers are double, and eventually it will be 3 times in 2027. Not exactly 3 times, 4 times from 2025 and double from 2026. That's a huge number. So simple illustration is, if you go on Property Guru right now and you look at your blocks, if there are 5 units for sale, using simple math, next year there would be 10 units for sale. Or I won't say the block, maybe in the estates there will be double the units for sale, and the following year there will be actually 4 times the units on the market for sale as your competition. So this figure is very scary, and I see more competition, more supply, more competition will of course bring prices down, because buyers would have more to choose from, and you have to be competitive. If not for price, at least your unit must stand out in the market. All right. Now, and then we move on to finally this chart. Just 4 charts today to show you, to really emphasize my point over here. And this is for singles and even for upgraders. They are looking at they are looking to sell and move on to the condo. I would really advise you all to actually look at it sooner. Just because the pace of growth between the HDB has always been lagging the private market. Okay. So if you look at the pink line represents the per square foot prices for the HDB market since 2001. The blue line represents the entire condo resale market since 2001, of course, up to 2025. Now you can see I did the gap in the per square foot pricing from 2001 in every 5 years gap to show what is the difference in pricing between the two market segments, right? You can see obviously the difference in prices, the gap has always been increasing since 25 years ago, even up to now. Even when people say the HDB prices actually went up by 50%, which is true, because you can look at here from 400 per square foot in 2020 all the way up to 600 per square foot in 2025. But the fact is the private property market actually went up even more. So if you look at it this way, and if you're looking to upgrade, let's say if you're an upgrader, right, you want to do it sooner, because the longer you wait, actually the more you will pay in the future, because the gap actually widens more. Same thing for singles out there in the market who can afford comfortably a private property. It's actually good if you can do it before 35, because if you wait longer, Firstly, it will get more expensive. Secondly, it's if you eventually want to go to the private market, then it will be even more expensive because you are taking a longer period of time and the gap will only get wider. Okay? So that explains, before 10 years ago, I always tell my customers, I can even have the landed per square foot prices when I put the entire comparison together. But right now, there's no point putting the landed inside because it is on its track on its own, right? But I believe the decoupling of the private condo and the HDB market will continue to widen just purely from the supply and demand perspective. All right, so what it means to you, okay, sorry, I think I briefly covered whether you're a buyer, whether you're sellers and things like that, right? If I put it all together, if you're looking in the market, if you're currently selling the market and if you're not getting response, I think it's good to really evaluate the purpose in selling, why you're moving. If the purpose is really there, not just from the push factor point of view on selling HDB, also the pull factor is very strong. Let's say there's a real need to upgrade. You're at the prime time to upgrade, right? Then I think it's really good to price your HDB more aggressively just to be ahead of the curve. Because if the curve starts coming down, you're always behind the curve in that sense. And I feel that many consumers out there, sellers, homeowners, always had the expectation of what we went through post-COVID on how easy it is to sell and how easy it is to achieve record prices. Coming from this line with experience of more than 10 years, having seen different market cycles, I'll say not every day is Sunday. And this is definitely an anomaly. We had a period of time where HDB prices were very stagnant. If I just go up over here and show you this period of time from 2013 all the way to 2019. All right, this period of time was very, very stagnant. Okay, we might come back to this era. We might. It's very hard to say, but I'll say this right now, this trend right now is definitely an anomaly that HDB is doing every possible way to get it controlled and stable. So if you are selling, it's really good to be realistic and to really look ahead rather than looking at the past for reference. Then if you are a single looking to purchase, I feel if HDB is something that you really want to buy, or just HDB buyers or downgraders per se, right? Then there's not so much of a hurry because maybe prices will start coming down more aggressively towards the second half of next year. If you're upgrading, of course, I think as soon as you're using MOP, if you want to lock in the profit, please do it sooner. Yeah. So that's it for today. If you want a more personalized one-to-one consult on your current situation, please feel free to reach out to me. All right. Thank you.